Hello again, everyone. This is Randy, your sewing machine man. We're looking at a Kenmore. What's the chances? Pretty high, actually. On this channel, you'll see some Kenmores, especially when we get one like this that has a happy ending. And we've been looking for a happy ending now for a couple of days, and they haven't been coming because of one thing and another. But this one is a happy ending. The lady the other day had the real nice Montgomery Ward that had the daggone gear that was compromised in it because it was nylon and it was all deformed. Well, she took off and grabbed this one. She got it locally, which is good. It was in a little cabinet. Got it out of the cabinet now by loosening the two set screws and lifting it out like I've told you to do. But this little guy was needing a lot of stuff. You know, I give you the videos on how to do the feeders that are locked up, and how to do the zigzag that's locked up, and how to do the stitch length that's locked up, and the stretch stitch that's locked up. This one had every single thing that I've told you about wrong with it. But you know what? It's a Kenmore 158-14310, all steel, very precision, and we worked on it, and now it's just like it came out of the box. Listen to that. Just a little sweetheart. Tension's on 4, buttons about halfway down. Feeders are up. They wouldn't go up and down. The feeders are stuck in the up position, of course, and you have to oil underneath. You have to get the penetrating oil out. Penetrating oil is your friend. Make sure you keep yourself, as far as the ambient air, make sure you get some outside air in there, or else they'll find you. You know, you'll conk out. In this area here, you have to put the super penetrant there. Had to adjust the belt. The belt was real loose, so it wouldn't drive it. And of course, everything had to be oiled. I took the cap off here. The gear was like it just came from the factory. I mean, the gear lube, that's what I should say. The grease in there. So we spread it around, get it on the gears, and put it back together. It's got a sealed gasket there, so as long as it's not leaking, and it's not, your grease is going to be good. So we had to get out the steel wool. There were some chrome parts. And, you know, we do some steel wool from time to time. It's 4/0, I think. Let's see, what is this? Yeah, core grade 4/0, very fine. It's not, see over here's coarse all the way up to 4/0. It's real fine. When you're polishing chrome pieces like this and like this, if they have a slight little bit of oxidation on them, you just grab this, give it a little going over, it'll shine like a new penny. So we got that going, and I had a lady the other day that her daggone needle bar wouldn't swing left and right. This one was doing that, and I mean, it was stubborn. When it won't swing left and right, you have to get in here, of course. You have to spray the super penetrant. You don't just spray it like you're spray painting something. You find, I'll just show you here, that's the best way to do it. You find where two places come together. Let's pop this off. Sometimes a screwdriver helps there, but in here, we've been seeing a lot of this area in here this week. In here, where this is, when you turn the dial, you'll notice this goes up and down. This goes up and down. See, it goes up and down and up and down. You have to oil that and work that so this goes up and down to pick all your different stitches. You have to get them to, so it works just flawlessly like that. It takes a while. If you think, well, I'm going to oil it and it's going to take off working, nope, you're going to have to work it and work it and work it and work it, and then maybe go take a nap and come back and work it some more. It's very tedious. But when you get done, you got a machine like this to show for it, a real nice machine. So you put it on zigzag. Getting back to the subject at hand, you put it on zigzag, which is here. On your orange. Orange on top is straight. The orange is a straightforward stitch. You take the width right here. Take the width. When you're getting it to unlock, when it's stuck and it won't go back and forth, it won't do. Let's see if we can get to do that. It won't do this. Let's see. Put it on zigzag, and it won't go left and right like that. When it won't go like over here on the left-hand side, when it won't go left and right like that, and it's locked up. You put it on straight and zigzag. You put your outside ring on 4, which is your widest setting, and you swing it over to whichever side it wants to move. Bring it to the right. Okay, when it's on the right, it's in the right, and it's not going to move. So I tell you to tap on it with a screwdriver, tap, tap, tap. It won't move because it's in the right-hand side of the swing. When you bring it over to the left and it's stuck over here still, you just tap it. Tap, 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 and it will. I'll bring this down here so you see what I'm talking about. When the needle bar is stuck in the right, it'll be stuck in the right. It'll be stuck over here. And you've already tried it when it's on that side. And when it's swung to the right-hand side, it's not going to swing. It's not going to swing. But when you take it around again, and it's supposed to be over here, but it's still stuck there, you tap it with that handle. You tap it, not hard, you tap it, and you see it moving, and it'll go over, it'll go over, it'll go over, and you're like, well, great. And you push it back, and it'll stick. It'll go back and stick. So what you do is you go in here, and you say, well, what is going on in here that's causing all this to stick? Well, let's see. Right there, you have a little plunger. Let's see, a little plunger right there. There's a little plunger. Get it up high enough so we can see it right there. That little plunger right there. See there? That little plunger right there, just to the right of your set screw. You have to oil that plunger or it's dried and it won't go left and right. Up here on top, you have a pendulum where it swings back and forth. You have an oil hole right on top, right there. And then down here, you have a pendulum right there. You oil it. And down the bottom, it runs in an erase, or a trace, you might call it, because it's on one side open. Right here, that, and on the back, because when you zigzag, it goes back and forth in there. So everything where you see anything, that pivots, rotates, hinges, or slides. And on this one, you're going to get all of that. Everything. And I did all of it. The only part that I used a screwdriver for was to tap it to get it to go over. I didn't take any screws loose. I didn't do any pounding, banging, cussing, carrying on. I was just very patient. And it took a while, probably a couple hours. But now it does everything it's designed to do. And it does it well. It makes a beautiful stitch. And the old adage is when you're stitching these things out, you always use the same color thread on the top and the bottom. So you can kind of fudgy on the edges. So you don't worry about it not looking right. But on this one, look, I used yellow on top because I was feeling kind of bold. And black on the bottom. And look, that black is just locking right on the edges. You can't even see the yellow. And on the yellow side, you can't see the black. So with the tension on 4, it is making a perfect stitch. And I'm going to show this to my customer. First, I want to show you how to wind a bobbin real quick on it so she'll know. All this other stuff was for all the folks that have been saying, how do I do this? How do I do that? And I have tape around the spool pin up here, so when I'm running it, it doesn't clangety-clang. You go, why is it so noisy? Well, these things right here. It goes back and forth, and I'm like, wow, that's terrible. I'll peel that off. So we're going to wind a bobbin real quick. Got a 15 class bobbin. You get a quality bobbin. Make sure it's a 15 class bobbin. There's one right here. Make sure it's got the point straight up and down, the little notch. Yours has a spring on it, so you don't have to be concerned with that. But the other ones, make sure it has a straight up and down notch. 15 class bobbin. Put it on here. You run your thread over to the guide. You're always going to have a guide on every machine. A little pinch point. Bring it over to the bobbin, around, 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 and I put it up through. Can you see that okay? Get closer so you can see that. Bring it around, around, bring it up through the hole. I spin that coin off it and say stay spun. Put it right through the hole. And you want to hold on to it because you want it to cut off flush. You don't want any thread sticking out. Comes up through the hole. You engage that. And of course, this has one of those real cool releases on the side. You don't have to use a clutch. Just pull out on this, like so. Give it the gas. The machine's disengaged. The bobbin winder is engaged. And it cuts it flush. So then all you have to do is wind. I always hold my finger there in case it wants to launch the spool. Sometimes it will shoot it into space. And you can wind that, and it'll wind it half full if you want to stop there, 3/4 full. You can wind it all the way up. It'll kick off automatically when it's done. Trust me, it will. And then when you go to thread it, of course, you want to load the bobbin. So come over here and load the bobbin for you because that's all stuff you're gonna need to know how to do. tilt the machine back if it's in a cabinet, or you can pop this off. There's a little latch right there on the bobbin. Pull the latch out. I'll take the black out. Put the yellow in, and of course we're going to load the bobbin. As the bobbin's facing you, the opening, the little notch goes up on the inside. The notch goes up. If you can see that, let me get the light since I've pointed you toward that. That little slot goes up from level. So here's level. It goes up on the inside. So you want this to be going down. See, this will be going down. Pull this down. And you take it up through the slot and out through that little opening right there. And as long as you hold on to the latch, the bobbin won't fall out. And then down here and the underneath, I'll tilt it back so you can see what I'm doing here in the light. Got the little post, you snap it on the post, the little opening at the top where the little finger goes. Then you thread the upper. Let's thread the upper. Step one when you thread the uppers, raise the pressure foot. That spreads these tension disc apart. If you haven't raised the pressure foot, you've already misthreaded your machine. You have to raise this up, step one. Go over here to this guide, put it in like so. Down to the tension. You have a little guide on the side, put it in front of the guide. I hold the thread on top and I go click. Slight click there. The guide has lay-in threading. It goes right in behind like so. You got another guide here, bing. Another guide here, bing. And then down here, bing. And you thread it front to back, long groove. The needle be facing you. The flat side of the needle faces to the rear. You push it all the way up to the stop point. Push it all the way up till it stops before you tighten it down. Try to refrain from tightening down your screw there with a screwdriver. Finger tight will get it done quite nicely. You don't have to be concerned with it being so tight that you strip out the screw that tightens your needle. So then you just make sure you put your threads to the rear. Hold them tight so they don't, go down underneath and make a big mess. Hold those threads to the rear. Once you've taken the first stitch, you can release them and you're okay. So you put your bottom liner over, put it on zigzag, and away you go. So your width of your stitch is going to be the outside dial. Put the numbers 1 through 4 right here. Your outside dial right here. Dot is going to be 0 actually. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the width of all your stitches. Down here is going to be the length of all your stitches. That's the outside dial. Boom. Right there. About 10 stitches per inch is where you're going to do most of your sewing. Inside here is your stitch function. Always make sure your needle's up so you don't bend the needle. And you go click for this one, click for this one, click for this one. You'll get all the stitches across. The orange ones are straightforward. The white ones are the stretch, which means you flipped it over here to get your white ones to operate. If your stitch is going forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, and you go, what in the heck is that? You have it over here. Move it over there. So you want to be on orange, orange. And you're going to get straight stitch orange. If this is on 0, which is orange, 10 stitches per inch. That's where you're going to do most of your sewing. That's a straight, good old straight stitch. And with yellow on the top and yellow on the bobbin underneath, this looks really, really nice. Let's run it down here and take a look at it. And see what kind of stitch we have. Well, let's see. Perfect stitch, absolutely. So these you have to work them. They sit for a long time. It's a precision piece of machinery. You have to don't just fire it up and start sewing. Service it first. If you just start sewing, something might mess up. So service it first. Do everything I told you. Oil this. Hinges, pivots, rotates, or slides. Give it a drop of oil. Use your super penetrant or whatever kind of liquid wrench, whatever you want to use to get it going. But if you find yourself a Kenmore 158.14310, I do a lot of Kenmores. You go, how about mine? How about mine? How about mine? If it's a front load, 15 class, like this, front load, 15 class, 158 series, doesn't matter if it's a flatbed with square corners, doesn't mean if it's a free arm, doesn't matter. If it's a front load 15 class, 158 series, you have a precision masterpiece of sewing machines, and you'll be glad that you have it. All right.